Welcome to the Daily Departure from Skift, your essential daily briefing on the business of travel. One story, one powerful insight, every weekday straight from the Skift newsroom.
It's like being in an oven, how extreme heat is changing travel. When Europe experienced one of its hottest heat waves ever in 2016, Ivan Vukovic, a tour operator in Dubrovnik, thought it was going to be a one-off. Turns out it was just the start. Records have been broken almost every year since. 2024 was the hottest recorded year in Europe, the fastest warming continent. Temperatures hit 49 degrees Celsius, 120 degrees Fahrenheit. I just thought 2016 was one of those summers which happens once every 20 years. But then it started to get extremely hot all the time, Vukovic said. The heat just lasts longer. We see days and days of temperatures over 30 degrees. That never used to be the case. Dubrovnik, famed for its UNESCO-listed Old Town and a key Mediterranean cruise stop, is one of the most visited cities in the world. Like many other businesses in southern Europe, Vukovic has had to change the way he runs things at his company, Dubrovnik Tours. The old town reflects all the heat, and it just sits inside the walls because of the massive stone structure. Add in all the kitchens, tourists, and stagnant air, it's like being in an oven, Vukovic added. We started advising guests to bring umbrellas, not for rain, but for shade. That's how intense it's gotten. We have paramedic stations around the old town in case of heat stroke. The peak seasons have shifted too. July and August no longer exist for his tours. It's just too hot. I go on holiday now to cooler climates during those months, he said. This year I started my tours in mid-March, and they run until July. I start again in September and through to November. A global heat problem. Dubrovnik isn't alone. From the Greek islands to southern Spain, extreme heat is upending local tourism. According to the World Meteorological Organization, 2015 to 2024 are the hottest years on record. In France and Spain, wildfires have forced evacuations from beach resorts and national parks. The 2023 fires in Rhodes devastated large parts of the Greek island, forcing thousands of tourists to flee. In 2022, London Luton Airport in the UK was temporarily shut down when extreme temperatures buckled the runway. And when temperatures rise, airplanes require longer takeoff distances and weight restrictions. They also need more time and more fuel to take off because hot air is thinner. Higher temperatures can cause runway surfaces, especially those made of asphalt, to soften and deform. Airports located in hotter regions face operational disruptions due to the reduced efficiency of aircraft engines at higher temperatures, said René Venduge, general manager at the weather intelligence company DTN. Wizz Air, one of Europe's busiest short-haul airlines, is headquartered at Luton and has 16 aircraft there. The runway melting meant we couldn't land, said Yvonne Moynihan, ESG officer at Wizz. There was huge disruption. She said the airline has experienced a general rise in delays over the years. We analyze what are the root causes of delays, and weather is actually the number one factor in terms of delays. Climate change is very clear and apparent, she said. Disruption is likely to continue as we see record-breaking heat events annually, added Venduge of DTN. Rising insurance costs and business risks. Extreme heat is contributing to business risks. Heat waves can lead to increased claims for property damage and even car breakdowns. PwC estimates that continued extreme heat could see insurance payouts increase to 1.9 billion Great British pounds by 2030. Insurance costs are rising fast, said Stefan Gössling, a climate and tourism researcher at Linnaeus University in Sweden. We've seen reports of 10% increases in insurance annually in some U.S. hotel markets. In places like California and Florida, that number is much higher, he said. Insurers are withdrawing from vulnerable regions. Some hotel operators have been told they're uninsurable. That's a terrifying prospect, Gössling warns. If your business can't be insured and disaster strikes, you're looking at bankruptcy. Intrepid, which runs adventure tours around the world, often outdoors, has had to get in front of consumer behavior trends to keep up. This is key for business, the company told Skift. We are certainly seeing an increase in the frequency of extreme weather impacting our trips in Europe. We've had to adapt in several ways, said Zina Benchaik, a managing director at Intrepid. We've stopped running our active trips to Spain and Portugal during July and August as record-breaking heat waves have raised health concerns, and we've instead added more departures in the shoulder season. Adapting to a new reality. One outcome of the rise in temperatures is a surge in the use of air conditioning. According to the International Energy Agency, IEA, global demand for air conditioning is projected to triple by 2050. Inge Huybrechts, Chief Sustainability Officer at Radisson Hotel Group, sees the trend firsthand. Guests want a cool, comfortable stay, and that means we're running AC much more during peak months, she said. At some of our hotels, energy consumption spikes 20 to 30% during extreme heat periods. Radisson has responded by investing over €1 million to retrofit some properties with electric heat pumps and to reduce emissions to near zero. It's not about using less energy, but switching to 100% renewable electricity, Huybrechts said. This is not just an environmental decision. It's about securing our future. We're future-proofing our assets now. Melia Hotels International is also looking at how to respond. Juan Ignacio Pardo, its Chief Real Estate and Sustainability Officer, explains, "We've assessed our entire asset portfolio to evaluate climate risks. From 2025 onwards, we're investing heavily in adaptation, everything from air handling systems to continuity plans for extreme heat and hurricanes." Melia is also looking at ways to train staff to identify and help deal with heat stroke. In Australia, resorts on the Gold Coast are installing sun-shading devices, reflective rooftops, and more advanced cooling systems. European cities are also getting creative. Barcelona has opened air-conditioned public libraries as heat shelters and mist-spraying, urban climate oases. In Canada, cooling centers in Vancouver offer water, seats, and pet-friendly policies during heat emergencies. Intrepid is also expanding its range of tours in cooler destinations. It opened its first office in Copenhagen amid a growth in tours in Northern Europe. The company has also launched its first Greenland trips to explore the wild landscapes by foot. Travelers are already seeking cooler destinations in summer, with Norway, Estonia, Lithuania, and Iceland seeing increased bookings from June to August. We've recorded a 40% increase in UK travelers booking coolcations for summer 2025, Benchaik said. Sabre, a global travel technology company, is using AI to help airlines reroute around climate disruptions. Our systems pull in weather alerts in real time, said Kristen Hayes, Chief Communication and Corporate Responsibility Officer at Sabre. So if wildfires, floods, or heat waves threaten a traveler's route or destination, we can rebook them within minutes. Some places are going even further. In Dubai, the Heart of Europe resort has developed Raining Street, a kilometer-long climate-controlled road that rains on command when the temperature rises above 27 degrees Celsius. It's powered by solar energy and managed by advanced sensors, said Joseph Kleindienst, the developer. We wanted to bring European-style comfort to the UAE, even in the heat. In the UK, hotels are exploring AI-driven thermostats, carbon accounting, and electric shuttle buses. Sustainability isn't just good ethics anymore, says Radisson's Huybrechts. It's what corporate clients want. It's what travelers expect. Adapting faster means policy, not just goodwill. The rise in temperatures stems in part from greenhouse gas emissions. Fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas are by far the largest contributor to global climate change, accounting for over 75% of global greenhouse gas emissions and nearly 90% of all carbon dioxide emissions, according to the United Nations. Travel is both a victim and a contributor to climate change. The University of Queensland estimates that travel and tourism is responsible for around 9% of global carbon emissions each year. Researchers like Gusling have long called for stronger regulation and clearer climate frameworks for tourism. Gusling argues that while individual choices matter, the real shift will come from governments mandating emissions reductions, supporting adaptation, and aligning tourism growth with climate targets. "You can't expect the industry to lead this change alone," said Gusling in a previous paper. "The incentives, tax structures, and infrastructure are still working against low-carbon tourism." Delta, one of the world's largest airlines, has hundreds of planes on order, and its greenhouse gas emissions rose in 2024 to their highest level since 2019. "I think we're well positioned with the industry right now and having good line of sight into what those risks are, and being able to not only work within our company, work across the industry to shore up either the right level of support, the technological breakthroughs, the policies that are needed to help us decarbonize and manage the climate crisis," said Amelia DeLuca, Chief Sustainability Officer at Delta. In 2021, Delta made a number of commitments to reach net zero. It says more efficient aircraft, cleaner jet fuels, and better routing and air traffic management are some of the key solutions that will help it get there. Hostaway, which supports thousands of short-term rentals globally, says consumer demand is shifting, but not fast enough. "There's definitely more talk about sustainability," said Marcus Rader, CEO of Hostaway, "but guests still book based on price, location, and convenience. Unless sustainability becomes easier to find and more clearly tied to cost savings or value, it's hard to see that changing at scale." He said more coordinated action is needed across the sector. "We can't just tell individual property managers to figure it out alone. Clearer standards, better data, and more support from platforms and regulators would make a huge difference." A hotter horizon. There could be other effects from climate change and rising temperatures. Gusling warns of economic polarization. "We may be entering a world where only the wealthy can afford to travel. The cost of flights, insurance, and air-conditioned accommodations will rise, and fewer people will be able to pay." He sees this shift already. The pandemic gave us a preview. Private jets, luxury islands, those still operated. Meanwhile, middle-income travelers stayed home. He adds, "We might see a future where travel becomes something that only is possible for those with the means, very affluent people. That's a really loaded and uncomfortable question. But there's hope, too. Hotels could lead the way," Gusling argues. "They have buildings, supply chains, and menus they can control. They can go carbon neutral first." He concludes, "We need systemic change, yes, but we also need pioneers. And tourism, ironically one of the sectors most exposed, can become a leader." In Dubrovnik, Ivan Vukovic is still guiding small groups through the ancient streets. "It's different now," he says, "but being different isn't always bad. Spring and autumn are beautiful here. People still come. We still show them the city we love, just at a different pace."
That's it for today's Daily Departure. For more insights into the business of travel, follow us on your favorite podcast app. And if you like what you hear, leave us a rating or a review, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.